What's up, Ghosts and Ghouls? It's the one, the only, JT Ripper, and I'm here with
Todd of Thunder.
And today we have the mom of the podcast, the mistress of the monsters, Lana, back.
Hello, my little ghost.
We will be talking about one of the best witch movies, possibly.
Possibly.
We'll
Correction,
see.
sir. The best of the best.
The Craft.
Day 10.
Day 10, by the way, if you're listening. Yeah, so let's dive right into The Craft. Do's, don'ts, what you got, what you mahoos.
Well, very simple for me. This is a 1996 movie, so it's definitely one that I used to rent from the video store for all you youngins.
Showing your age.
Yeah.
Star-studded cast, man. I mean, Neve Campbell, went on to become Scream royalty and everything else. But
Was this one of her first big hits?
yeah, I believe
I would say so, yeah.
this and the movie Wild Things.
Oh, yeah, definitely The Wild Things.
But as far as this was, I guess, her dabble in the kind of horror genre. This was her first one, because before that, wasn't she popular on Party of Five? Isn't that what she got on?
I think so, yeah.
Or was that somebody else? There was
I think it was Party of Five. I didn't really...
Oh, it was, what's her name? Jennifer Love Huge Tits.
Yeah, her.
I think Neve Campbell was a part of the cast too, right?
I'm pretty sure. I
don't remember.
I never really watched Party of Five.
Yeah, it wasn't my jam. But
I really didn't. Jam. I don't buy jam. I
I
buy honey.
watched it, but it was more in the background. I didn't watch it like I did Dawson's Creek or something.
Yeah,
I actually paid
watched,
attention to Dawson's Creek.
Yeah, I actually watched Dawson's Creek.
This is having
a
me
lot.
so
Yeah.
nostalgic.
Yeah,
But the other actors or actresses in this movie are great as well.
you got
Robin Tunney is kind of the main girl in this. She's
Yeah.
the new girl that moves into town and finds a home with these other three witches. And what's her name? We can never say her name.
what is her name? The
Fluja Burke.
Burke.
Feruza?
Fariza Burke.
Feruza.
Feruza. Most people,
Balk.
most people will know her from The Water Boy.
Yeah.
And
She showed me her boobies, and I liked them.
yeah, and also if you like the movie American History X,
Oh, yeah.
she was in that as well. But she was a child star. She played her big break came in a Disney film called Return to Oz. Yeah, it was kind of like a really weird '80s sequel to The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, but it was still pretty good, though.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
it
honestly,
captures the imagination, the whole thing.
her
And
eyes are beautiful, crazy.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Her crazy face is it's.
she's pretty.
She's pretty
she's
crazy. Literally, the
a
term
beautiful
pretty crazy.
disaster.
Yeah. I don't know. It was just something about her and what did she I'm not. She didn't say I'm not crazy. He's not crazy, or I can't remember.
No, she had that breakdown in the film,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not crazy. And she kept stomping her feet, blah, 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 blah. Which is ironic because at the end, the last image of the film, she's in the straight jacket in the
yeah.
crazy house, just crazy bitch.
Yeah.
And
was good,
also,
though.
Rachel True plays in it. We're pretty excited about that. We have a chance to meet her coming up pretty soon, so
Yeah.
that's going to be
Hopefully.
awesome. And that's pretty much.
You forgot Mr. Skeet.
Oh yeah, Skeet Ulrich plays in this. He's the, what would you call him?
The love interest, friend interest. I don't know. What would you call him?
He's kind
I
of
would
like
say love interest, yeah.
the asshole, almost bad guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this movie is pretty awesome. I mean, like I said, it's Robin Tunney's character moves into the town. She, I guess they kind of gravitate towards her because they need a fourth member.
So,
Yeah.
so her character is Sarah,
Yeah.
and she was the only one. So the school that she moved to, there was the coven of the 3 girls, and they needed a 4th to complete their the fire, earth, wind, and
Air.
air. Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
So they were looking
The
for the 4th
elements.
girl, and they saw Sarah levitating a pencil with her mind on the desk.
Ah, that's right.
Yeah.
there you go.
And she
Okay.
was the only one that truly had natural powers.
Yeah.
So they saw her and was like, "Oh, this is the girl we've been looking for," and she joins the trio and becomes 4.
And I guess the other 3 kind of let their newly found powers go to their head.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they're not, it's like a puppy dog with a new toy. They just don't know when to stop.
Yeah,
Right.
it starts off with just some good things, and then they start getting revenge, and
Yeah.
things turn way south.
One thing about this movie that I've always liked is the pacing of this movie is done
Mm-hmm.
very well. Like
Yeah.
it has that like the snowball effect, like where it's going downhill and it's building up, and like it's perfect.
Yeah.
And then
it's-
like when the ending gets there, it's like wow, holy shit.
And it's it's one of those movies where you can tell it's a 90s movie,
Yes.
but it doesn't lose its steam 20 years later either.
Right.
Like it's a product of the generation it was in, but it still appeals to everything else. And that's rare because sometimes you watch movies and you're like, oh man, only in the 70s can they get away with that or blah, blah, blah. But this movie is still fire to today. And like you said, I haven't seen a more entertaining movie about like teenage witches that either A, wasn't corny as hell, or
Yep.
B,
Yeah.
wasn't marketed towards 12-year-old Hot Topic girls.
Yeah,
that's
I mean,
accurate.
honestly, I feel like over the past, I don't know, 3-4 years, this movie, like I wouldn't say it has a cult following now, but it's definitely gotten bigger. More so, like it's being brought up, like it's like a resurgence almost. Like this movie, Halloween 3 is like
Yeah.
getting popular.
Well, it was one of those things where it's like, Nib Campbell is so popular for Scream, and
Yeah.
then everybody's like, oh, well, what
else
about
is
The
she
Craft?
in? Yeah.
You know
Right.
about The Craft? That's awesome too. And everybody's like, oh, yeah. So,
Yeah, and then going back and watching that, that's just one of those movies that's aged very well.
soundtrack is awesome too.
Oh my god, the soundtrack's so awesome to that movie.
Yeah. Very 90s.
I was gonna say, like a lot of those like 90s, early 2000 horror movies, like even if it wasn't a great horror movie, it had a fucking bustin' soundtrack.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
Faculty,
the
this
Faculty.
one, Scream. The list goes on and on.
Yeah, the first, I don't know, 4 Scream soundtracks are pretty fucking awesome.
yeah,
Honestly.
they're pretty good.
But as always, I'll let you know what streaming services that you can watch this on. And unfortunately, I think this one was kind of limited.
Yeah, there's not many.
It's not many. So if you have Hulu, you're in luck. So it's on Hulu.
Cthulhu?
The Hulu. Everywhere else, you got to buy it. But I suggest you buy it.
This is one that's definitely worth the buy.
This is a buy if you really need to know. You can rent it, I think, for like $3.99 or something like that. But just go buy the movie. If you want a digital, it's probably going to run you about $7, $10, or you can rent it for $2. Or if you have Hulu, of course, you can watch it for free. But this is a must buy. If you're a DVD or Blu-ray collector like myself, go buy it. It's definitely worth the time. Rewatching this thing is on par. Like you can rewatch this movie over and over again. It's kind of one of those like horror movies you can just throw on in the background. Me and you were talking about this yesterday. I feel that way about like Halloween H2O,
Yeah,
like Child's Play. 2
I call
and 3.
these movies remote drop. You heard a mic drop, like
Yeah.
when you said when you said all you can say, and there's nothing else to say. You do the mic drop, but if you turn on television, you see one of these films that we're mentioning, you just drop the remote, no matter where it's at.
How
Just let it play.
clever.
Yeah,
Mr. Thunder.
Exactly. That's a good analogy. And a lot of, I don't know, comfort movies. It's like, Southern
Yeah.
comfort food. It's just comfort, like horror movies. I know that's kind of weird to say, but there's definitely, I've got a list. Maybe that's what we should do. A countdown of like comfort horror movies that
Yeah,
you can just put.
You can just put
Put
on,
on
and no
anytime.
matter, like, if you turn on television and they're on, it don't matter where it is, you just leave it. Or
Yeah.
if you're looking through your streaming service and you can't find anything, you want to put on something that's familiar and
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
you might not have to pay a whole lot of attention, but as soon as you look up, you know exactly what scene you're looking at.
Right.
So,
Idle Hands is like that for
Yeah,
me.
that's a
also.
good one.
But is there? I know this is like one of your favorite horror movies. Is there anything else you would like to add to this episode? This short briefing.
Yeah, I mean, if you haven't seen it, which, gosh, that's hard to wrap my mind around someone not seeing it, because for me, this is a movie that I rented from Blockbuster back when that was a thing. And my friend and I watched it and fell so in love with it that I went and bought it, the VHS, and we watched it so many times we literally wore the VHS tape out.
I did that with a couple. Yeah. Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah. Definitely give it a watch if you haven't already. But no, I agree with everything you're saying. Like, it's definitely one of those that, like, it's kind of a comfort horror movie you can put on any time. And if you're kind of zoned out, pick it right back up. It's definitely like, definitely a favorite for sure. That's why I had to come on this one. But yeah, so I'm curious what your star ranking is.
Well, as always with these 31 days of horror movies, we are rating them, and I think it's safe to say
Don't
5.
I was going to say, don't offend me. Don't let me down. You didn't let me down.
I think this is definitely a 5. The pacing, the music, the acting.
Very well rounded.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, it's hard to find any blemishes in this movie.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't think there are many movies that I would give a solid 5, but this is one of them.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm guessing you're
5 out of 5.
5 out of 5. The Thunder from Down Under.
4.
4. 4.
I got to be the different one out of the group. I'm going to give it a 4,
ball.
which is
Right.
still, great movie. So
Yes.
I think it deserves a place here on the 31 countdown.
And I
Oh,
think
100%.
just the fact that the two of you are ranking it, what do you call it? Ranking? Rating?
Rating, ranking.
Whatever, same
Ranking
thing.
ratings.
Either or.
Both work.
Either or.
But just the fact that both of you have given it a 4 and a 5 says how solid this movie really is, because it takes a
100%.
lot to get that high of a regard for you guys.
It's
Yeah.
a staple of like that mid to late 90s kind of young teen boom horror era.
Yeah.
It was spearheaded it by Scream, and it continued from there. And
Yeah.
Yeah, one thing I will add is something that I think is interesting about it. Like you were mentioning, with a lot of witch movies, it's definitely kind of focused on that young population, or it's either very corny or it's like that 12-year-old Hot Topic girl. This is not one of those. And I also like that, with witch movies or shows, it's primarily a female fan base. But I don't think that's the case with The Craft. I think it's kind of like universally loved.
yeah, they could have easily
Yeah.
fucking Twilighted this up
Yeah.
to where I'd just shit all over it.
Yeah,
but
exclude
they didn't.
everybody. Yeah, I would fucking rock a Craft shirt in a heartbeat. Like,
Yeah,
like
it's
unapologetically.
I've got
Yeah.
a crop top one for you, babe.
Yeah, I know. I'm not wearing that one. But yeah, it's definitely in the 90s. It wasn't too great of horror movies, but this was one of the greats that we got out of the 90s.